Hallo. Ja, Florian. Ja, je bedoelt Ghamburzi, Німеччина. І я у мене урок українською мовою кожен день, але прогрес дуже трохи. So I have to speak English with you. I'm really sorry about that. I try to learn Ukrainian, but it is hard. Come in. You're welcome. They missed the best part. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to meet you, to talk with you, to discuss with you. I met Olya at a conference, a sustainability conference here in Kiev last week, something like that. And I had a little speech there, and afterwards they approached me and said, well, can you talk about sustainability in Germany in this hour here? And I said, of course, yes, I can. And so my background is sustainability and circular economy. And I'm a former consultant in Germany. For 2 years now, I'm concentrating on the rebuilding of Ukraine. And I'm very often in Ukraine. So I spent more than 3/4 of this year in Ukraine. And traveling around and trying to do some projects. And what I would like to ask you is, am I too fast with my English? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't understand anything, just raise your hand. That's no matter. So when Olya approached me and I said yes, I was thinking, okay, what can I do? You know what? Sustainability. Germany. You know, it's big. So I thought about, okay, we have a very interesting discussion right now in Germany, and I'm going to tell you about the discussion. But I thought maybe it is more interesting for you to be part of the discussion. So the questions we are having right now in Germany on the table, I'm going to ask the question to you, and you're invited to answer them, to give your opinion, to discuss, to say yes or no, whatever you want to. So it's a little bit more interactive than just me, telling you about sustainability in Germany, because there's not much to tell. Of course, there's much to tell, but it's we don't have that much time, and that's the last personal thing I would like to say. I have to leave latest at 4:15. I'm sorry, because I have a meeting this evening. I didn't know that when we discussed this afternoon. So I'm really sorry if I have to leave, in an hour. But maybe it's an interesting hour, and if you like, to continue the discussion, just raise your hand and I can come back whenever it is suitable for you. I don't know what your time schedules are, and so you're invited, to be with me for more time. Okay, so what's the discussion we're having right now in Germany? The discussion is about this bird, plane, helicopter. What is it? Do you know that? What it is?
Like a plane, but which kind of plane?
Yeah, that's the important question. What kind of plane is it? It is called Lilium, and it is German engineering. So now it's getting difficult, German engineering, because when German engineers are going to develop something or invent something, they try to do it, with a deep. They take a lot of time to think the things through, and then they develop, and then they realize, oh, okay, we're not starting with an MVP, but we're starting with with more features, and we're doing the right stuff. So in the end, we really have something which is good for the market. So the end of this, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years, of development and research of lithium is this kind of plane, and it's not only you know, looks like a toy, but it also really exists. And I would like to show you, I hope I can do so, here, the website. So now you can see that. And I would like you to, you're welcome. I would like you to watch this video. It's very short. It's very short, but you maybe you realize something. We're going once more through, and then I'll start with my questions. Okay, we'll let it run. There are two aspects, two characteristics of this plane, let's call it plane, which are outstanding. Which characteristics are they?
My predictions, is it a jet plane that adapts to wind currents?
No. Good idea, but no. What are the two main characteristics of this plane?
Well, let me suppose. I suppose that it is the noise, which is
No.
no,
No.
not about the noise. It's
No. No, it's not about the noise.
well, maybe about ecology. I don't know.
No. That's the point we're coming to, but it's not the, if you're describing this plane, two aspects are very important. What do you see?
What about speed? Something.
It's not very fast. Speed, it's not, no.
It
Oh.
is connection with the wind.
What's with the wind?
Air moving. Air.
Yeah. What's with the wind? I say, wait a second. What do you see?
Vertical.
It's going vertical up and down. Wow. A plane which is going vertical up and down. We know this from hovercrafts, but we don't know it from planes. So that's cool. It's going up and down directly. It doesn't need a runway. It can start from here. Okay, so what is the second thing? What is the second aspect?
Maybe it's ecological and doesn't harm our environment or something.
No. No. What is the second? It's very easy. It's so obvious that you don't see it. That's my fault.
Maybe it doesn't need a pilot.
It's not that far away, but still they have a pilot. Now it is small.
It's a personal vehicle, yeah?
It is kind of a personal vehicle. It is an air taxi, an air cab. It's a Uklon for the air. So that's what they invented. Uklon for the air. So why do they invent something like this? You know, it doesn't make sense if you see this movie, but maybe you can understand it, you get a better feeling if you
Yeah, it's a clear way.
So what do you see as a Uklon of the air? What do you see?
Much reduction in time spent traveling. It's much faster way.
There's some kind of opportunities or advantages to go with that from, I think that's New York to Philadelphia. It's a German company. it's international, on an international market. So they have some kind of subsidiary or even more, probably the management is in the US, I don't know, but basically they are high-speed regional air mobility. So that's cool. A plane which can start right here and brings you, I don't know, to Odessa, so you can spend the day on the beach, whatever. That's an interesting thing. Now, the question is now, the first one.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Yes, thank you. The question number one is. Okay, yeah. If you are having some money, would you invest in this startup? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
If I have money to invest,
Hmm?
then I would invest in this startup because I think that among those people who can afford such kind of trips, because I suppose that it will be kind of expensive to fly on these planes.
Mhm.
I think it will be kind of popular among those people. So I would invest my money in this startup.
So the reason you're investing is you're seeing a market niche for this startup.
Yes, I don't
Good.
think that it will be really popular among a big amount of people.
Yeah.
But among those who can afford it, it
Yeah.
will be.
Okay, good one. Very reasonable decision. Is there another reason? Yes or no, and why? Yes or no? So we need more investments. Only one is not enough. So there are more to come. So why are you investing in this company? Or why do you say no? I won't invest.
I can see another side of previous argument is if we have like niche markets and most people cannot just afford it, it can be not so profitable and maybe it can fail in this.
Okay, so there's a yes, there's a niche market, there's a no. Just because it is a niche and it's not going to be bigger. It's not big enough. Very reasonable arguments. There's nothing I can say against it or anybody of you. But I would like to hear some more voices. So what are you going to do with your money?
I'm going to invest in this
Yeah.
project because it will help me to economize my time on traveling. Plus, it is electric, totally electric, as I understood. So it will also, so by choosing this transport, I would also contribute to the environmental situation of the country.
Yeah,
So
yeah, okay. So to put it this way, she said there is a niche, that's the reason it will work. You're saying, I'm sorry to put it a little bit more on the spot. I am part of this niche. That's the reason I would like to have it. That's totally okay. It's to say, hey, that's for me. Yeah, good one. What's your opinion?
I think investing in this startup would be like investing in electric cars in 2008. But we should consider the price of this product. If it's too expensive and it's not for a regular user, it's gonna be not so profitable in terms of startup. So if the company that is creating the startup could minimize the price for average people, it would be very great startup.
Okay. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Now number 4, and he says, "I'm going to rephrase you a little bit. I'm going to wait. I want to see how the market is developing, and then I will step in if it is going to the right direction."
Yeah, that's right.
Good one. What's your opinion?
For me, it
this project is similar with a helicopter.
Yeah,
And if I can substitute these projects with helicopter, if the question in the price,
yeah,
I will choose helicopter as the old known machine.
yeah.
And I will use it, but if it is will be competitiveness in the price,
Yeah.
I will choose this. But
So, good one. So we had 4 arguments on the market. Now we have an argument on the technique. It's a new technique. Are we going to trust it? She's doubtful, and she says, well, I rather take the heli than this one. Very reasonable to say. So, is there something more? We have the market 4 times, we have techniques. What kind of arguments do you have else to invest in a startup or to turn it around? Would you like to be part of this kind of startup, or would you say, no, that's not my kind of business, or yes, that's me?
Yes, I'd like to be a part of the startup because I believe that in the near future we have this this type of plane helicopters because we have a great traffic jam on our road. We have so many issues with environment, and I guess this startup will solve it, and it will be a good choice.
Okay, so now we have market, we have technique, we have sustainability as an argument. Is there anything more?
I think that in the future this technology will develop, and maybe our cars will transform like.
Okay, yeah. Back to the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, that resonates a little bit with him in terms of, let's see, what's going on the technical side. He was on the market side, but that's reasonable. Okay, so that's the warm up. The second question I would like to discuss with you is the question: should the government invest in the startup? So just imagine, there's this Lilium. They invented a taxi which can fly people from A to B in congested areas. Now, they need a lot of money because it's quite expensive to develop this kind of stuff. And you can raise this money from rich people all over the world, but you also can raise the money from governments. The question is, should the government give Lilium money? And that's, by the way, the discussion we just had in Germany. Yeah.
I think that is how I mentioned before. These technologies similar for the helicopters, how they are up and down. It's relatively similar. So I think that these machines are less expensive. Not such expensive as this. So I think that governments will choose helicopters than this.
Oh, okay.
But if particularly Germany, this country is known about the ecology. If we make this more ecological like benefits, we will show this, and maybe it is we mentioned about the air turbulence, if it is according to the turbulence, maybe we will take this and buy this because in the future we have a big problems with the turbulence and the air in our.
Good one. We're keeping all these arguments or the aspect you just said. We're keeping them aside. We're coming back to them later. Yeah, good one. So here was the answer on the question number 2 was no, the government should give money to this startup because we have a technology which is proven. Am I right? Which very shortly, very crisp. Okay, so what else? Just imagine you're Zelensky. The war is over. Everything is fine. there's a little bit of money on the desk, you don't know what to do because the economy is booming. Are you going to give this money to Lilio?
Maybe I think that the government can be interested in this startup, so we can like reduce traffic jams, also maybe pollutions like from the cars, and maybe it will be like less accidents, like because air transport is more like safe than like cars, so it will be like safe.
So this is kind of, we're changing the whole structure if you're investing into it, the whole traffic structure, less cars, less accidents.
Yes.
Reasonable argument why you should put governmental money into this, into the startup. To make it probably a bit more easy for you to answer this question, what kind of questions should the government ask before they start raising money or not to the startup?
So let me say about your previous question about Zelensky.
Yeah.
So I think that in Ukraine there are very many niches where the money is more needed than in this. And in the Ukraine there are not so many need for this kind of transport. But if we are speaking about New York or something, well, it is more reasonable for the so for the mayor of New York to invest in this startup because it is, if it is more movable than helicopter or anything, it is more. There are less noise about it. Well, it might be a reason.
Okay. Okay. So there's a we don't really know yet, and are we the right market, the right country to give money to? Okay. What would your
Once the government would be interested in investing in this startup, because it may, I don't know, it may motivate scientists and engineers to invest also in new technologies. So all countries want to have the best new technologies, and maybe they would be interested in developing some other versions of this plane and maybe even exporting them, these planes in the future.
Okay. So there is the argument that's a new technology and it needs support. A very valid argument. Is it true that it is a new technology? Yeah. Why do you be so sure?
In my opinion, it is some sort of new technology because we have something close to medium, like a helicopter, but it's not work like a taxi. So it's something new in technology using.
Okay, but may I ask, why do you compare it with a helicopter?
Because helicopter can move up and down. So plane look like helium, but I think helicopter closer to helium.
Okay. Is there no plane which can go up and down?
There is a plane that's flying.
Which plane is it?
Well, I don't know how it's in English. Винищувачі. Сучасні, so yeah, there is some sort of planes in the America that can do something like this, but
What kind of planes are they?
Fighters, military.
Where are they used?
Military.
Yeah, the jets from the military. Where are they used?
In war.
Yes, in war, but on what kind of equipment? Where do you see that the plane is going up and down?
On the, let me see, авіавинищувачі, як називається? Well, a sea base that's just can land many planes.
Yeah, exactly. So this technology they have the idea that you can turn around the machinery of a plane and you're going up and down is used for 50 years in the military. It is not such a new technology. But still, you're right. If we're looking on innovation, we always find in innovation something which is old, which is already in use. So innovation is not something which is totally new by 100%. It always fits somehow into what already has been on the earth, what has been invented. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But still, we have to look closer. What is the innovation? And what is the difference? You always, or you very often compared it with a helicopter. What is the difference between this plane and a helicopter? And when do you see a helicopter in, let's say, a dense population? When do you see that? There's basically only one reason a helicopter is flying into the town. If you're taking away all what, let's say, the political stuff, you know, Biden flying with his helicopter from Washington to New York or something. If you're taking this out, which is representative, but there's just one occasion where helicopters are flying into heavily populated areas. When does this happen?
Emergency, some kind of.
Right, there is an emergency. And why is it only emergency when a helicopter is flying into a town?
To transplant the.
Yeah, right. For that kind of reason. But why is the reason? What is the reason? It's so seldom. It's not very often. Why is that? You had the right. Who was it? Over there. I saw this one. Was it you? So.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Right. So if try to stand next to a helicopter which has its blades running, you can't stand there. You have to go away, far away. And everything which is on the ground is flying away. So you have to cover your head. So a helicopter as a taxi, as a Yukon in a city doesn't work. It is as simple as it is. But this might work. So if we have the helicopter and we have the experienced technology, which doesn't work for dense populations, but we have a new technology which can take over what a helicopter does, why should a government decide to subsidize the startup or not?
Well, as I said before, in New York City, the helicopters are very widely used. So there are even taxi helicopters. So for $100, you can just travel around New York City. And, you know, this thing can make the niche of flying transport for emergency more wide, in my opinion. So, and maybe just.
Why does it work in New York?
Because
why does the helicopter work in New York?
Because of the traffic jams.
No.
Information.
Excuse me? No. Why does a helicopter work in US cities?
Maybe there are some special places for them.
Where are these places?
On the road.
They're on the rooftop. You need a skyscraper to have a helicopter taxi. So there are quite a lot of skyscrapers in Kiev. You could think about that, of course. But you can't, you know, build a skyscraper and after 2 years you're starting to think, well, I take a helicopter place up there. Doesn't work because the requirements are quite high. So you have to plan the helicopter landing place on the skyscraper right away in the beginning of your planning of the skyscraper. That's the reason you can't just take helicopters into every town or on every roof. That's a problem. So, but we don't want to talk about helicopters. We want to talk about what we have here. And now I would like to get a little bit out of this focus. Okay, does it work or does it not work? We had this argument. It was over here. Maybe it was you or yours argument. Excuse me, I don't remember exactly. Who said, well, there's something with traffic jam. There is congestions. If you have this plane, the amount of accidents on the roads are going down and stuff like that. So what we're approaching now is sustainability. We're now nearly in the middle of sustainability. We're having a problem. This is the road in front of your university. It's 6 lanes, 8 lanes, I don't know, 6 at least, 6 lanes. And if you're coming in the morning, the 3 of the lanes into the city are stuck with traffic. If you're going in the evening, the way out is stuck. So obviously, this road is not big enough. So what can you do about that? You're in Kiev. In Kiev are living approximately 5 million people.
Yeah,
something like that. Okay, so many people. It's a big city. It's a really big city. So you have a problem with traffic. You see it right in front of your university. It is a real problem. So the question is, how can you solve it? And you can think about kind of this solutions, but sustainability is asking other questions also. So try to ask other questions regarding this and this problem out there. Who was first? I don't know.
We should develop public transport, because if we do this, then people will reduce the amount of cars, because it's no need for cars, and they can just use public transport, for example, metro or trams or buses, and maybe we can also develop like bike tracks, so people will just use these kinds of transport, and there will be no traffic jams.
Good one. So now we have an answer which makes us a little bit. On the one hand side, we have to change the situation. On the other side, we bring in another tool to bring traffic down. And in this case, you asked me to bring you some kinds of discussion from Germany about sustainability. In this moment, you have exactly the point where Germany is discussing about. So we also have this kind of roads which are stuck with traffic, and we have this kind of startup. So the ones say, well, we have to solve the problem on the road. It doesn't help us to commute the people over the air. The others say, well, this is a new technology. This will help us to reduce the traffic down there. And this is one of the discussions you have in sustainability. There's a new technology. We have old problems. Does the new technology help the old problems? Sometimes you have a very easy answer. Sometimes the answer is not that easy. In this case, I would say it is not that easy. But still, you know, we have to think about it. And that was one of the reasons the government really discussed, are we going to invest into lithium? And so this leads to the question, where is innovation happening in terms of sustainability? And this is a very big question and a theoretical question, but a very practical also. So one of the answers is, okay, we have this plane. This will solve our problems on the road. The people were saying, well, we want to change. We have to change the traffic. What kind of question will they ask to the people who are in favor of Lilium? What question will they ask? Very easy one. You all know that question. To reduce the traffic out on the road, how many Liliums do we need?
A lot.
Okay, so a lot is not a negative answer, but it opens the door to even more questions. For example, what kind of question is coming up if the answer is a lot?
How much?
How much does it cost? What is the next question?
How do we regulate in the air all of this helium?
Exactly. How are we going? You know, nobody cares about traffic signs and traffic lights down here. You know, what are we doing up there? You know, it's how is there a police flying around, or what are we going to do then? So, what is the innovation for sustainability? That's the key questions we have to face in the sustainability bubble and in the politics and in the whole country. What is the innovation? So we have this kind of quantitative answer. There, we need so many Liliums that we really have a market. It's going to be cheap. Many people can afford it. Not all, of course, but many. So it will be a good investment. But still, there is, you know, at the back end is a load full of unanswered questions. So what would be the qualitative discussion in that? The quantitative is about numbers. What is the qualitative question about that in terms of sustainability? And this plane.
At least, is it safe?
For example, yeah. Is it how safe? Yeah.
Yeah, probably there will be some accident, but the accident on the road is not the same like accident on the air. So they will fall down and other things.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
how to deal with it, how to solve them.
Yeah. So that's one of the qualitative questions.
I think we could remove the accidents by first making it fully automated.
Yeah.
And then developing the air, how to say, regulations.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's we could implement not only in like usual airport system, but also in some other cases.
Okay. So you're very optimistic.
I am.
Yeah. So it's a bad question. It really is a bad question. But how many years do we have cars on Earth?
200.
No, not that long. 110.
100.
Something like that. So we, as a human beings, we all have 3 to 4 generations of experience with cars. How many fully automated cars do we have already?
A few, I suppose.
No.
You mean
Spot.
autopilot?
Hmm?
You mean autopilot?
No, fully automated cars.
There are cars in development. I think Mercedes are developing automated cars.
If you're interested in autonomous driving and stuff like that, I recommend you the newsletter of I don't know what the name is in English, but the German name is it is an English and German newsletter, so you can read it in both languages. I recommend, of course, the German version, just because I can't speak Ukrainian. But the name of the newsletter. I can send it to you, and you can spread it in the group. Is the last person who made a driver license is already born. So something like that. That's the headline of the newsletter, and he's following up all these discussions. And we have in San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, and so on. We have fully automated taxi drivers, trips, and they are thousands a day. So we have already in certain cities, in certain areas, the experience of fully automated driving. We don't have it in Europe. We don't have it somewhere else in the world. It's just the hotspots of deep tech. 4 reasons. They're working on that for the last 10 years, and they spent billions on it, really billions. But it's coming. So the thing what I wanted to say is, you said we're going to regulate the air traffic. We don't even are able, after 4 generations, of driving cars, to regulate our traffic down here. How are we going to regulate something we don't have even experienced? That's a real problem. We have to imagine what is going to happen in the sky if we are going to bring this lithium into the market. We have no idea. We really don't know. So the regulatory part has to wait for a long time till we have the experience. We very often think when we have innovation for sustainability, we can combine it with some kind of habits, or new habits, or new regulation, or something like that. But it always fails, always. Technology is technology, and new habits are new habits. They're not coming together just because there's new technology. It will follow if the technology comes through, of course, but not right away. So there is a lack in time, and there is a lack in understanding. We have to understand what's going up there. So now, what are we going to do? When we invest, everybody here in the room, we are investing into lithium. Lithium will thrive, and we will have a market which is big enough that that there is a price competition on this kind of taxi flights. What are we doing if we do so? And that's one of the key issues in sustainability always. What are we doing if we are bringing lithium to the air and it's working? What do you think? What are we doing then? It's a difficult question, I realize, yeah. So I give you the answer. We're not solving the problem on the road. We are bringing a solution which is totally, which is not touching the traffic jam. Maybe it has an impact. We don't know. But first of all, we're bringing a solution into an area where we don't know what happens up there. How high are insects flying? How long can a bee fly before it falls down and is dead because it doesn't have anything to eat? What's the distance a bee can fly before it needs something to eat? Exactly, that's the point. We don't know anything about what's going up in the air. And now we want to bring lithium up there to say, okay, we're solving a problem down here. It might have an impact. It's a reasonable thing to discuss it. I don't say it is ridiculous. That's not the point. But we have to consider that traffic is traffic and flying is flying. And maybe there is there's an impact from the one side to the other, but we don't know. So the question for sustainability is always, when we are trying to solve sustainable issues with technology, what are we really doing? What is going to happen there on the ground? And that's a difficult question. And basically, that's the end of what I wanted to tell you. To think about what does it mean to invent technology for problems we have in our daily life. I'm really not saying don't invent technology. That's not the point. The point is, what kind of technology and what kind of transformation are we going to have if we invent this technology here? This is the biggest question in sustainability always. And we haven't even talked yet about what kind of sustainability issues do we have, or what is sustainability at all. That's what we can do the next time. But for now, I would like to give you this kind of question: what are we going to solve if we're inventing a new technological device? What is going to happen? That's a question we have to discuss, because we are all engineers, inventors, innovators, and stuff like that. So we're doing that, but does it help? How does it help? How can we bring it into our society? How can we change behavior? How can we open markets? How long can we wait till we invest money in it or spend time with it? That's all, key question for the sustainability issues. That's it. So 47. So if you want to, you can ask questions. I'm here for anything. Then I have to take my hovercraft and fly to Arsenal now. The hovercraft is called Metro. Yeah,
I have a question. How has Germany integrated renewable energy sources into its energy grid? And what lessons can Ukraine learn from this transition?
Oh. How many time do we have? And do you have a question which is a little bit smaller? So how it has so many aspects. You have to understand a little bit about politics in Germany. And so it is a political question, which means energy is a technical thing. Engineers are working with energy, full stop. So if politics makes a decision on energy, it's a political decision. It doesn't have anything to do with the rationality of an engineer. So there's two things, but still, they're coming together somehow. And you have to understand a little bit. Okay, where shall I start? 1986, May 18th, I think. What happened? Chernobyl disaster. Okay, so what happened in Germany and in Western Europe? We've been all afraid of eating mushrooms, eating fresh fruit from the garden, stuff like that, because we thought, and we had it was like this, we had the evidence, it is all contaminated. 1986. This is something a country doesn't forget. This is a kind of this is remember it for years, for generations. This kind of impact, because it's changing your life significantly. I don't have to tell you about changing in life. I know, but this was for Germany. Then 2001, what happened in? I forgot the date.
In Japan, yeah.
the Japan,
tsunami.
the tsunami in Japan, Germany, there were several thousand people which died in the tsunami. Germany had a loss about 1,000 or something like that. 1,000 Germans have been on the beaches in Thailand and so on. So there was one, and then there was this tsunami, and it destroyed the power plants in Japan. So what happened then was the political situation and the situation, the society was, okay, if atomic power is such vulnerable, we don't want to have it. And then there is a third thing, which is we had 2001, we had 86, and there is a line below that, which is for since the 70s, it's running in Germany. And that is the question, what are we doing with the leftovers of the power plants? It's contaminated waste. We have to store it somewhere. Everybody you're asking says, whoa, not in my backyard. Over there, that's a good idea. That's a good idea to, over there. But the guy over there, what is he, same argument. So we didn't solve in Germany the question, what to do with the atomic waste. Well, we solved it because we sent it to France. Good one. And what did France? Well, they stored it for a while, they treated it for a while, and then it came back, unfortunately, because France said, well, we have the technology to lower the contamination, but still it's, bad waste and contaminated. So here is it. So if you're now think about, okay, where are the power plants in Germany and where is the technology based in France? It's about 800 kilometers. So how do you commute waste from point A to point B, which is industrial waste, not just the bin of it's trucks full. So you take a train. So we had a train coming from France, going all through Germany, up to the north, where there was a spot where they decided, okay, we keep it here till we have this final solution. It was in the 70s, they decided to do so in the 70s. We still don't have the final solution. So for years after years, the trains from France were driving through Germany to the spot. And in this area, it is a not heavily populated area, but the people who are living there, they're in the morning, they're brushing the teeth with their middle finger. And if they put butter on the bread, they do it with the middle finger. So what I wanted to say is, very nice people, but they said, well, you want to fool us or what? We're the garbage bin of unsolved problems? No. So year after year, and for generations, they were in resistance of this kind of trains. And this was an ongoing story for generations, that they resisted these trains. They were sitting on the tracks, they were with heavily chains, they bound themselves on the machines and stuff like that. And it was in the news for years. Every year, again and again and again. And and the people who were against this kind of dealing with this kind of unsolved problem, they traveled to the north of Germany and supported them. So it was a bigger and bigger crowd over the years. So now we had Chernobyl, we had Japan, and we have this ongoing question of unsolved problems. So what is Germany doing? Germany is saying, okay, at the first exit they could take, and this was the Japan exit, they said, okay, let's get rid of atomic power. We're stopping it right away. And the interesting thing is, it was the Conservative Party who decided that. So it was the party which over years and years and years said, we need power plants. But they realized in 2001, it doesn't work with us. So this is the fundament on renewable energy, which is coming now into place. Because if you're taking out atomic power, you're having two sources of energy. The one source is coal, and the second source, and coal and oil and gas, and the second energy is renewable. So the people started to say, okay, when we're going to stop power plants, which you can't do just from you can decide from now to then, we're stopping it, but it takes, let's say, 5 years or 10 years to take them from the net, the power plants. You can't just turn the light off there. So in the meantime, the one part of Germany said, okay, when we're going out of power plants, we're raising renewables. And the other said, hey, Putin is our friend. He's a nice guy. Look at the prices he's making us for gas and oil. Let's go on with that. So this was the polarization in Germany, discussing energy in a very easy way. It was more complicated, but basically it was like that. So the second thing is there's somebody coming, or to put it this way, if you're reading a book and it is very exciting, the story is really exciting, and you want to know, okay, how is she getting out of this trap she's in, or whatever. You know, very often you have somebody coming from outside to solve the problem. And in this case, we had somebody coming from outside, making the problem even more difficult. This was the European Union. You're welcome.
Thank you for
the European Union said 6 years ago, well, guys, sustainability is an issue. Now we're coming back to what I try to explain to the audience there. We have a problem here. That's what the European Union said. Well, what is the problem? The problem is that we have a scientific approach to sustainability. And the scientific approach is done worldwide by an IPCC. IPCC is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It is an international organization. They don't do research on their own. The only thing is what they do. They are looking at the outcome of research at universities and scientists on climate change. And they just agglomerate all the outcomes. So if there is a project here at the university, how is climate change going to have, what kind of impact has climate change, for example, or raising temperatures on the biodiversity of the Black Sea as a research project. The outcome of this research project will be reviewed by the IPCC, not in a way to evaluate it, but just to see, okay, what did they find on this question? What's the answer on the question? What the impact is? And so this IPCC is working for 20 years now, or even longer. They have every 5 years, they have a report, and they say, okay, the scientists all over the world, they are they're all aligned in this and this and this question, and this answers of these questions. And here are some kind of doubts or different aspects. And the interesting thing is that 99% of the scientific research on climate change, the impact of climate change, from agro over tourism, over traffic, over everything, 99% is there is a heavy impact coming on the humankind. We are running into troubles. We're running into big troubles. And this is some kind of a, you know, it's a kind of a thunderstorm you see coming up there in the summertime, you know, over the field. Behind there, you hear the growling and you see the lightning, but it's not yet here, but it's over there. Okay, and this is for the last 20 years, it's coming closer. It's coming closer and closer and closer. So, okay, that's what we have here. The other aspect is, and then I'm going to finish up. I don't want to bore you, but the other aspect is that there's the World Economic Forum in Davos. You probably heard about it. Zelensky has been there twice, 3 times, I think. It's a private institution. It's not a public one or governmental one. It's a private initiative by a guy in Switzerland. And he said, okay, in the beginning of the year, I'm gathering all the, the heads of the big companies. And at a fire chat, we're discussing what is going on in the economy. And how can we, what do we want? What are what's going to happen and stuff like that. So it's an informal meeting of the heads of Apple and Mercedes and Ukrenergo and, just name it. They all go to Davos. If you ever been in Davos, you wonder where they are because it's a tiny village. But anyways, they're meeting there and they're discussing. And what they did for the last years is they are asking the economical leaders, what are the risks for your business? What risks are you facing? And so they mapped out the risks for years. Every year they're asking the same question. What kind of risks are you facing? What is the what do you see? Is it coming or not? How high is the percentage it will happen? And how big is the impact if it happens? So there might be risk which, they won't come, and if they come, it really is not that bad. We can deal with that. Or there is a risk which is not likely to come, but if it is coming, everything will change. And the other way around, it's very likely that the risk is coming, but we can deal with it or so. So if you have it, you're all economists, so you have the 4 field matrix in your head. If you're up on the right, you're really into trouble because the likelihood of risk is very high and the impact is also very high. So, up there, that's the problem. So the question is now, what did the leaders of the economy answer the guys to the initiator? They said the biggest risk is climate change on our businesses. And now the interesting thing is, it wasn't just the farmers who said that, or the fishers. It was companies like Mercedes, or companies like, I don't know, we're in Ukraine, a company which is doing some technology stuff. They said, well, this is a risk for us. This is a risk for us. We have to do something about it. So, okay, now you have 2 things. You have the thunderstorm coming up there. Slowly, but it's coming. It's closer and closer and closer. Then you have the realization that that there is, if we're coming into the thunderstorm, we have a problem because the impact will be high. That's what the economic leaders are aware of. So now you have 2 things. This is very interesting and very nice, but it doesn't make politics. The politics starts if somebody says, okay, let's do something about it. And this was Ursula von der Leyen. You probably know she's a doctor. She's I don't know, she's a children's doctor or something like that, pediatric. She never worked in it, but she studied it and did everything, to finish her studies. And she has 5 kids, and so she is basically a lady which is standing in the middle of the life. And so she wanted to become commissioner of the European Union, the head of the commission. So what did she do? She said, okay, I need a program. I need something. The parliament is going to vote for me. I have to convince the parliament. So what she said was, okay, we have the thunderstorm. We have the risk awareness of the industry, but this doesn't really work. So the third part was that they had many polls about how did the population feel. And it was pretty clear that the population was very, what are we going to do? I'm not feeling comfortable anymore because there is a thunderstorm coming and nobody's doing anything about like that for that. So I'm not, my life and so on. So she had a third source of impact for her decision to say, okay, as a leader of the European Commission, I'm going to tell you, we're going to tackle this problem. And that's the reason we're having the Green Deal. Now, when we are having the Green Deal, now I'm coming back to the German situation. She was the guy coming, she's German, but it's the European Union coming to Germany and telling, hey, girl, you're in a trap. We're bringing you out here. We're doing it. So this is, it's very often called the Deus ex machina. So it's, some kind of a miracle is going to happen and the problem is solved. It's not that easy with the European Union, but basically they told every European country, you have to do something. And now you have this discussion in Germany, fossil, renewable, and there's the European Union, which says fossil, no, renewable. But coming out of a discussion where you just kicked out atomic power into a situation where you have long-running investments in fossil, you're having a problem to bring out renewable energy. And so the discussions in Germany just started. And that's the cliffhanger I leave you with. We can talk about that if you want to later. You just have to decide. I'm here for a week more. And just send me a mail, whatever you want to. Okay?
Thank you so much.
I hope I could give you some kind of ideas and something to think. Thank you very much for your patience.
Can we take the photo with our students?
Of course, back there at the